Hello to everyone.
In Albanian today, I should still respect the language of the institution that I'm heading, the RCC. But then again, so we can have like some short press statements for the Albanian media. This is the day that makes the day. With this sentence, I opened my speech during the Belgrade Digital Summit, when the signature among Western Balkans, 6 ministers at that time, and the agreement with telecom operators happened. From that day, we noticed that the entry into force of Rome like at home regime in the Western Balkans was going to be a reality. But from that day as well, back in 2019, we got the promise from the EU that the very first day the Rome like at home will enter into force in the Western Balkans, then that day we should start the negotiations to decrease the roaming charges EU-Western Balkans. And this was like the question that we always received and people kept asking us. When is that going to happen? After that 1st of July 2021. And so I'm glad that today we started the day with the great news that the roaming charges EU-Western Balkans are coming down in full time together and hand in hand with the leaves. I have to admit that this was like a very difficult exercise. And I'm not saying it now, what I'm going to say, because the commissioner is seated here nearby. But this exercise and this story wouldn't have been possible without the great contribution and the personal one of Commissioner Varhelyi and the whole team of NIR who was helping us on the way. It wouldn't have been possible without the logic behind of all the telecom operators, that the prices EU-Western Balkans have no market logic anymore to stay at the levels that they are until today. And I have to say, humbly and proudly, it wouldn't have been possible without the great contribution of the digital team at the RCC. So, Prambera, thank you. What is going to happen like from 1st of October? In practical terms, these like challenging self-regulatory and voluntary reduction process will mean that every Western Balkans and EU telecommunication operator that signed the declaration today will consider introducing retail rate plans and options to lower the roaming charges for their users. This, as I said, will take effect on 2023, 1st of October, and from that day as well will continue again until we reach that the roaming charges EU-Western Balkans will have only the local tariffs in use. So you might have noticed that during like my speeches or whenever we meet with the EU leaders, us from the region and myself, we use the phase that is part of the methodology, which is like phasing in. And I have to say that Europeanization of the Western Balkans is like this. We don't have to wait for the day of the membership to consider ourselves part of the EU community. That is phasing in process, bringing the Western Balkans into the process and into the models that European Union is having in use from prior to the time then we'll be like a member states. So the roaming exercise, but not only, the 3 agreements that were signed like 2 weeks ago in Berlin during the Berlin summit on the mobility. The mobility agreements recognizing the students' diplomas and the recognition of the professions. Plus the lifting the wall of the visas that was present in the region, that between Kosovo and Bosnia-Herzegovina. So freedom of movement with ID cards are like real examples that the regional cooperation works, and on the other side, that we have been doing a lot and trying a lot to bring the Western Balkans closer to the EU. So I hope that this day, in this bursting and vibrant Tirana, will positively influence to our future joint work, and we would welcome other telecom operators to join us in this endeavor. But again, the biggest kudos and thank you goes to all of them, and I'm pretty glad that RCC is considered like a trusty partner for the telecom operators, and will continue further on until we reach like the level of the local tariffs, hopefully 2027.
Shumë faleminderit Majlinda për të gjithë